everybody, I'm Sherry and this is the No Chew Food channel. If you have to be on a soft food or a puree diet, then this is the channel for you. I'm going to show you how to take some ordinary recipes and turn them into foods that you can eat. Now today we're going to do chicken pot pie. Now when I was a kid growing up, I thought chicken pot pie just came right out of the freezer. But I was surprised how easy it is to make from scratch. And we're going to go through that today and you're going to see just how easy it can be. Now to start with, since you probably can't eat pie crust, we're going to start by making our topping with cracker crumbs. Now you can use breadcrumbs, but I like to use Ritz cracker crumbs. So I'm just going to put a sleeve of those into my Vitamix. I like the Vitamix because it grinds everything up really well. You can put these in the food processor also, that'll work too. Here we go. And there we go. That grinds up your cracker crumbs really well. Get that out of the way. And we'll pour this up and use this later as our topping. Now we're going to set this aside and then we're going to make the filling. To make the filling, we're going to add about a tablespoon of butter and about the same amount of olive oil in a skillet. The olive oil just helps the butter to keep from burning. Now we're going to add 1 carrot chopped up. And we're going to saute that for just a few minutes until it gets soft. And after those get soft, after about 3 or 4 minutes of sauteing the carrots, we're going to add some onion. And again, just saute that until the onion gets translucent. Now we're going to add garlic, 2 small cloves of garlic, minced. And just cook that for about a minute. Now I've pre-cooked some chicken. I'm going to add that. These are chicken breasts that I cooked earlier. I just poached them. And there's a little bit of chicken broth still in here from poaching them, and I am going to use that. Now, all of this is going to get pureed. Since I've pre-cooked the chicken, it's not going to take that long for this to cook. Now the last thing we want to add is our peas. About a handful of frozen English peas. And just let those cook through. Now once that's cooked through for about 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to set it aside. We're going to let it cool a little bit, and in the meantime we're going to make our gravy. For the gravy, again I'm going to use about a tablespoon of butter and about a tablespoon of olive oil. Then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour, and we're going to whisk that together. I'm going to add some salt to taste and pepper to taste. And just whisk that until that gets a little bit thick. Now we're going to add 1 cup of half and half. And just whisk that and keep it on about a medium-high heat until it starts to get thick. Okay, now you can see it's gotten pretty thick. So we're going to set this aside and then we're going to puree our chicken mixture. Now our chicken mixture has cooled enough so that we can put it in the food processor. The reason I let it cool before I put it in the food processor is because this is a plastic container. And if you put really hot food into it, it could crack it. So let your food cool just a little bit before you food process it. So let's just add that to our food processor. And this is where I'm going to add the chicken broth that was left over from the poaching when I did the chicken, when I poached the chicken earlier. Just a little bit of chicken broth so that it'll puree nicely. Let's just add all of that. You've got to have a little bit of liquid in order to puree it. And here we go. Okay, so I did have to add a little bit more liquid to that to make that puree very well. But once you get your puree done, we're going to take it out, put it in a mixing bowl. Then we're going to add our gravy to it. Now we have our gravy that we set aside from earlier. And we're going to add, we may not want to add all of it. That's why I like to put it in a mixing bowl first. I'll add some gravy to it, stir it up, and see if it's the consistency I want. And I think that looks good. I added about half of the gravy. And we're just going to put that in some baking dishes. About 2 of these little ramekin type baking dishes. Now we're going to cover this with our topping, which we set aside earlier. This is Ritz cracker crumbs. You can use breadcrumbs. If you can tolerate pie crust, you could put a little piece of the pie crust that you get in the store, just cut it to fit, and put that over this. So here's kind of what they look like. We just put some of the cracker crumbs over the top. If you want to, you can even put some butter on top. The cracker crumbs already have some butter in them, so I'm not going to do that this time, but you can dollop some butter on top. And then we're going to bake these in a 350 oven for about 30 minutes. And our chicken pot pie is out of the oven. Smells delicious. Doesn't look too bad either. So we're going to dish that up. See how that tastes. Got your cracker crumb on the top, and then you've got your filling beneath. So there we go. Chicken pot pie for a puree diet. So even though you have to be on a soft food or a puree diet, that doesn't mean that you have to forego eating all the foods you enjoy. So I hope you join me back here for some more videos in the future. Be sure to subscribe. Also, I put the recipe in the description box below, so if you want to print out the recipe, you can find that below. Thank y'all for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.